I gotta fight the network. I gotta fight Shakur. I gotta fight the judges. I gotta fight the rest.
Frank Martin has woken from his sleep and is on the lookout for his next opponent.
Artem. Why is he facing Artem? How can he say Tank should have fought De Los Santos?
And shockingly, he's returned to call out the same fighter he previously ducked, Shakur Stevenson.
He just beat, right? He should have faced him over me, but he going to fight a guy I beat.
It's doubtful that Martin would get a positive response here, but let's hear what he has to say.
Same thing, you know.
Right,
I want to fight the double back around. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
And we make it happen.
Frank Martin has finally found his voice a few weeks after missing out on the biggest fight of his career. The Detroit native fighter has been quite silent on social media after Gervonta Davis made him one of the 28 fighters who didn't see out a match with him, as a brutal combination of shots culminated in a devastating punch from him that sent Frank Martin to the canvas once and for all.
I let my people down, you know, but my head high, you know. At the end of the day, you know.
His first appearance on social media, however, was on a live session to do something he never did in the build-up. On the live session, he showered praises on Gervonta Davis and called out Shakur Stevenson for a fight.
I got comfortable chilling on the road, trying to find that bigger shot, you know, it wasn't presenting itself.
Until the post-fight interview, the 18, one fighter had dissed Gervonta Davis and promised to end him for the very first time. But the result wasn't much different from the predictions, as Detroit's Martin lost for the first time in his career at Las Vegas's MGM Grand with the Southpaw. Despite a decent start, Davis eventually caught up with him. "I let my people down," Martin said. "At the end of the day, I came out to be great, but I came up short. I got caught with a shot that I didn't see, one that came underneath and it went from there. I'll be back better. Watch films and grow. I got too much chilling on the ropes. Derek James, my trainer, that's one he's been talking to me about in training camp for a while, not getting comfortable just because I can catch shots and this and that. I just feel I was on the ropes too much."
Once I stopped, you know what I mean, doing my thing, you know, he got all the shots on me.
What's your success?
Martin knew Davis well, having sparred him years ago, and he gave the WBA lightweight champion from Baltimore plenty of credit. "He got power," he added. "He does a great job landing that shot, hitting guys on the button and just getting them out of there because he's an accurate puncher, and he knows how to land that shot."
At the end of the day, you know, I came out to be great, but I came up short.
He's got good traps, good setups, good traps. The trap I got caught with was one we knew could happen. He can box, he can punch, he's adaptable, and I feel he can adapt to a lot of different styles. Martin, regardless, said his evening unraveled because he failed to stick to his own strategy and got drawn into Davis's game. "I got away from the game plan by being on the ropes too much," he said.
You know, I got caught with a shot that I didn't see, you know, one that came from underneath, you know.
That wasn't part of the game plan. Derek didn't want me on the ropes. I was trying to see something while I was on the ropes. I just wasn't able to find what I was looking for. And like he had praised Gervonta Davis in the post-fight interview, Frank Martin showered more praises on him while he spoke recently. Tank is the face of boxing. He's earned his status as a great fighter. His style just keeps working for him. He's got my respect, Frank Martin said.
And it went from there, you know. I guess I ain't make the count.
Frank Martin answered several other questions from fans on the live session before he was asked who he would love to fight next, and this was the most shocking of all. Shakur Stevenson, he should come fight me. He's been calling me all through the press conference. I'm here now.
However it go. But once I get a strap, we can double back, and then we can make something happen. We can unify. We can.
However, it's very unlikely Shakur Stevenson considers Frank Martin anymore, as his eyes are fixed on the very big fights with the biggest stars of the sport. Last year, a vacant lightweight title fight between Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin was ordered by the World Boxing Council.
Oh, yeah, he is, because Shakur ain't going to take that 25, is he?
Like I say, let them give me that opportunity.
You supposed to, especially in Shakur.
The belt became vacant following Devin Haney's plans to move up to super lightweight and challenge for a title there. Stevenson, as the sanctioning body's mandatory challenger, was then fighting to be champion in his next fight. The opportunity to face him was reportedly offered to Vasily Lomachenko and Isaac Pitbull's Cruz, but both turned it down. Next was fellow undefeated southpaw, Frank Martin.
Position.
The table's gonna turn.
Yeah, because once you whoop him and get the 4 belts, baby, you undisputed.
Then you do what you want to do.
The two sides had until September 5th to reach terms and avoid a purse bid hearing. Stevenson is co-promoted by Top Rank and Antonio Leonard Promotions and managed by Jay, Prince, and Josh Dubin. Martin is promoted by Errol Spence's Man Down Promotions and primarily fights on Heyman's Premier Boxing Champions, PBC, branded shows. The ordered title fight came as rumors swirled of a potential showdown between the unbeaten lightweight contenders.
Exactly. Plus with him, that's Hall of Fame credentials. Two division champ, then you...
Stevenson moved up to lightweight earlier last year. He was forced to do so after he missed weight and left his WBC WBO junior lightweight titles at the scales ahead of a 12-round win over Robson Conceição last September in his hometown of Newark, New Jersey. The 2016 Olympic silver medalist and former two-division titleist returned home for his latest win, a 6th-round knockout of unbeaten Shuichiro Yoshino on April 8th, to become the mandatory challenger for the World Boxing Council title.
If you
It
think
ain't
you
like
can whoop
taking
him.
taking that percentage is lower, but he had to do it. Everybody got to be.
everybody
Every
had
top dog got to be an underdog.
Stevenson campaigned to challenge undisputed lightweight champion Devin Haney, who as at then last defended his title in a May 20th unanimous decision win over Vasily Lomachenko at MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Haney and Stevenson exchanged words in the ring after the fight, but talks never got off the ground even after the WBC intervened to get a status update from its champ. Haney opted to instead enter talks for a targeted challenge of World Boxing Council junior welterweight titleist Regis Prograis later in the year.
Exactly,
No,
exactly. Especially if you think you can whoop him.
Go get it.
Yeah, you got it.
The move came at the expense of his being named World Boxing Organization champion in recess, which cleared a path for Stevenson to next challenge for the title. Lomachenko was still ranked number 1 in the World Boxing Council lightweight rankings, but has opted to sit out the rest of the year. Stevenson was ranked number 2, despite his being confirmed as the mandatory. Number 3 was Mexico City's Isaac Cruz, February 1st, 25, 17 KOs, who clearly had other plans as he had twice passed on the opportunity to face Stevenson in a WBC-sanctioned fight. The search led to Martin, a 28-year-old Detroit native who lives in Indianapolis and trains with Spence in the greater Dallas area. Martin advanced in the World Boxing Council rankings after a 12-round unanimous decision win over then unbeaten Artem Harutyunyan on July 15th in Las Vegas. A 12th round knockout was enough to preserve a close win for the rising contender after a more decisive 2022 campaign that saw wins over Romero Duno, Jackson Marinez, and Michel Rivera. Despite promotional and broadcast barriers, Stevenson with Top Rank and ESPN, Martin with PBC and Showtime, the teams seemingly reached an agreement before purse bids were required.
To keep it G, man, keep it real with you, I honestly feel like once.
However, it was then reported that when Top Rank sent the contract to PBC, they were informed that Martin was no longer interested in the fight, only days after it was reported that lightweights Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin agreed to terms for a vacant title fight, which canceled a planned World Boxing Council purse bid. It seems the fight was not to be after all.
They was really happy I ain't take the fight. You know what I mean? I feel like
ESPN's Mike Coppinger cited his sources, which indicate that Frank Martin ultimately decided to pass on the fight, refusing to sign the official contract once Top Rank sent it over to finalize the bout. Coppinger would also quote Top Rank spokesperson Evan Korn, who had this to say on the ultimate breakdown of the fight.
Believe it or not, like me pulling out, they pushed that narrative of me.
Shakur Stevenson is willing to fight anybody in and around his weight class. The fact that so many fighters have turned down the challenge is a testament to his greatness. It's disappointing that the fans will be deprived of such a highly anticipated matchup. Martin was supposedly set to make in excess of $1 million for the bout, according to Chris Mannix, but will apparently now look to take his career in another direction. Martin didn't have much of a chance in this proposed matchup by most analysts, and it clearly seems that he wasn't confident in his own chances either given this development. This prompted a widespread response from fans and pundits on missing out on a technically excellent fight.
When being scared had nothing to do with it. It was all about the money. You know what I mean, one fighter getting a big amount and the other one getting, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say crumbs.
Stevenson immediately took to social media where he accused Martin of ducking. The 28-year-old has now responded, unsurprisingly denying that, saying simply, "I ain't ducking anything." The opportunity to face Shakur Stevenson for the vacant title then fell on Edwin de los Santos. And after the Newark fighter won, he became a 3-division champion at the age of 26. "I'll spin the block," admitted Stevenson on his social media account.
You feel me? Because it's the money, I mean, the amount was good money, but for that type of fight.
You're saying like the risk, the reward didn't outweigh the risk in that sense.
"I don't turn down no smoke. I'm fighting whoever comes to the table, and it makes sense. If Frank Martin makes sense, then yeah, let's do it. It's all on him." He said, "No, I can't control what the other fighter says." However, Frank Martin ignored Shakur Stevenson's call and moved over to Gervonta Davis. And for Shakur Stevenson, the fight ended long before it began, as he had predicted a big win for Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he's not lying.
Shakur Stevenson, the World Boxing Council lightweight champion, talking about the fight between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, said,
I look at that fight, it's just levels. Like, it's levels to the fight. Tank, he gonna go in there, fill him out.
"I look at boxing in terms of levels. There are different levels here. Davis will get in the ring and realize that Martin is below level. Then Gervonta will destroy him and feel on top of the world. I have nothing against Frank, but it's just a matter of level." Frank Martin started boxing at 17 or 15. He obviously started late and is a bit behind other fighters. "I don't think he can beat Davis," quotes the Portal Boxing News. World Boxing Council lightweight title holder Shakur Stevenson was an interested observer for Gervonta Tank Davis's 8th-round knockout win against Frank Martin earlier this month.
Oh, yeah, he is, because Shakur ain't going to take that 25, is he?
Like I say, let them give me that opportunity.
Stevenson is preparing to face Artem Harutyunyan on July 6th in Newark, New Jersey on ESPN. Harutyunyan gave Martin a serious run for his money before fading late last year via decision. Stevenson wants to make sure he does to Harutyunyan what Martin couldn't, and that's dominate. "I'm not going to say I want to knock him out, because at the end of the day, when you go in there looking for the knockout, that's how they don't come," Stevenson told Boxing Scene.
You were dealing with some kind of injury or something like that. How's this camp going? Are you injury free? Has everything been looking pretty good?
Honestly, this the best.
"I'm looking to prove there are levels. We saw that Frank was on a C level against Davis, and I want to show Artem is C level as well. It was a professional versus an amateur. Frank Martin lost the fight to Davis in the first round. When Tank walked out and made him do exactly what he wanted to do, he lost the fight. Frank went out there and wasted a lot of energy in the first 3 or 4 rounds. By rounds 5 and 6, he got tired, especially with the weight problems he was having. Once he got tired, it was a ball game. Tank lined him up and got rid of him."
Honestly, I'm the type of person I watch like 2-3 rounds and I see what I need to see. Like, I don't really like.
As Stevenson awaits to navigate his career as a free agent following the Harutyunyan fight, which marks the end of his contract with Top Rank, the World Boxing Association lightweight title holder Davis is aligning himself for a dance with Stevenson's promotional mate, Vasily Lomachenko. That development leaves Stevenson without the division's top 2 stars as viable options for his next fight this year. "Honestly, I don't care. It is what it is," said Stevenson when asked about missing out on both Davis and Lomachenko. "I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this for money or clout. I don't give a damn about that stuff. I know that my time will come. Tank Davis has nowhere else to go but to fight me. At the end of the day, me and him will have to fight, and that's my opportunity. But for now, we're focused on Artem."
And in front of all these fans, and I just want to punch my way into being a.
Stevenson said that a fight against IBF lightweight title holder Lomachenko has always been sitting in front of them, and all that was left to do was for Top Rank to negotiate a deal. However, it's not as simple as it may seem, with Stevenson's one foot already out the door. "I think me and Lomachenko should be next and unify," said Stevenson.
Very successful fighter and businessman in the future. So as far as the market.
Honestly, a lot of people don't know that Lomachenko is one of my favorite fighters. It would be very lovely to share the ring with him. I think that he's a hell of a fighter and that fight should happen. I think that's a Lomachenko question though. His team has to accept the fight, but it's my time right now. You put him in front of me, and I am going to handle business right now. Hopefully we can make it happen. For now, it appears Stevenson must handle business against Harutyunyan and wait to see how the cards play out between Davis and Lomachenko.
And showing everybody what I'm capable of.
It just depends on which Lomachenko shows up. Against Davis, Stevenson said, I honestly can't see him just knocking Lomachenko out. Lomachenko has tricks and is defensively sound. The skill level Lomachenko has is a lot better than Frank Martin. No disrespect to Frank Martin, it's just the experience level that Lomachenko has. Tank has the edge. He's younger, fresher, and powerful. He has the edge for sure, but I don't see it as a whitewash. It also depends on what Lomachenko has left in the tank. A lot of people watched that last fight versus George Kambosos Jr. and felt that he looked super good. I paid attention. I thought he looked good, but he couldn't really up the pace the way he wanted to.
My extra motivation is really within the people and the public and everybody playing with my name.
From the look of things, Shakur Stevenson is more willing to wait for his time to get the big fights than take smaller fights. And if at all there's a fighter to consider, it's very doubtful that Frank Martin would be anywhere near the Banes on Shakur Stevenson's list after missing OJT the previous time. Frank Martin has called out Shakur Stevenson, and it's just normal to wait for Shakur Stevenson's response.
Nobody want to even watch you. You ain't entertaining like I ain't been entertaining for several fights before that. So,
however, Shakur Stevenson's fans don't expect the outcome of that matchup to be any different from what we saw when Frank Martin and Tank Davis faced off in the squared circle. Davis, 30-0-28 KOs, whose team was dressed in Ghostbusters gear as he walked to the ring inside the MGM Grand Garden Arena to the movie theme song, took care of unbeaten top contender Frank the Ghost Martin with relative ease to defend his WBA title at 135 pounds. In his first fight since knocking out Ryan Garcia in their blockbuster pay-per-view card last April, with a 44-day jail term in between for violating the terms of his house arrest, the 29-year-old Davis looked both menacing and spectacular in how he repeatedly walked down Martin, 18-1-12 KOs, before viciously stopping him at 129 of round 8.
From Martin, I want to see that left to the body.
After a slow start, which he ascribed to being rusty, Davis began to routinely walk Davis from corner to corner and unleash power shots after taking away his opponent's jab due to the threat of his power. Eventually, that same power caught up with Martin as Davis landed a left uppercut in the corner to stun him before nearly knocking him out cold with a left cross. Martin, 29, was wobbly as he reached his feet at the count of 10, but referee Harvey Dock waved off the fight after looking into his eyes. I was rusty, but it was okay because I'm back, Davis said. A couple of rounds, I felt like I completely needed a warm-up, but it's okay. His footwork wasn't bothering me. I knew he would tire out. That's why we decided to just stand there and be a target for him so he could tire himself out throwing punches. Davis, who targeted the body throughout, landed an absurd 53% of his power shots, according to CompuBox, in the PBC on Prime Video PPV main event. Martin landed slightly more punches overall, 81-79, but it was the trademark efficiency of Davis that won out as he went on to land 44% of his total punches. It was the uppercut that hurt him. Boom, Davis said. I've been around for a long time and I have been training since I was 7 and competing since I was 8. It's like second nature for me. It's just about staying focused and making sure my mind is on the road to coming out on top. Although Martin was able to gain back respect at times by exploding out of the corner with clean left hands to keep Davis honest while causing a bruise around his right eye, he was never able to follow up with anything menacing enough to keep Davis from unleashing relentless pressure over the final rounds. I feel like in the beginning I was in control, but then I got a little too comfortable, Martin said. I stopped doing my movement, and once I stopped moving, he was hitting me with big shots. When I stopped doing my thing, he started hitting me big. It was just me trying to figure out what I could do to try to slow down the pressure that was coming. After the fight, Davis wouldn't commit to which fighter he was hoping to target next, despite the fact that rumors have swirled about his interest in title unification fights against fellow lightweight champions Vasily Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson. Garcia, who was seated at ringside and wearing a t-shirt aimed at Davis that said, "Rematch me, bitch," on the back of it, climbed up to the apron and embraced Davis as the two shared a laugh, although there was no mention inside the ring from Davis about a second fight. One thing Davis did talk about was how much his recent jail sentence, which stems back to a 2020 hit-and-run accident, has caused him to mature. The native of Baltimore has had a history of legal troubles for assault and domestic violence.
Tank Davis sticks the landing on the back flip, and according to the legend of Gervonta Tank Davis,
"It made me a better person with patience and things like that," Davis said. "Stuff in life, you have to go through it and not try and go around it. It has made me a better person, a better father, and a better athlete. Most importantly, I want to just get back to the drawing board and just get back to the gym and stay focused. I felt a little rusty, and that's all for now." Having seen Frank Martin on the big stage, what are your thoughts on the outcome of a possible fight between Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson? Let's see your picks in the comment section. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.